Hi friends, Renee Keys here with Carolina Creative. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here with card making ideas for you today. It is the third week of October, so it's time to start thinking about Christmas and Christmas cards. And I discovered that the So Very Merry stamp set is still available as an online exclusive. I had some fun with this last year, so I wanted to do another techniques type demonstration using this stamp set today. These stamps can look like really cool stained glass when you get done with it. So I've already punched out a circle that is going to fit this stamp. And I'm going to stamp on that. I'm going to do a little bit of stamping first, and then we're going to do some watercoloring with watercolor markers. So let me flip the camera down and to my work area right here. You can see I've already got my watercolor pencils out. They're sitting here, but first I want to do just some simple stamping and then get all this out of my way. I'll do a really quick embossing on my banner here, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But first, like I said, I want to do some stamping. So I've got my Memento Black, and I'm going to ink up this angel die. It's not a die, the angel stamp. And I'm going to put it on the white circle. Now this works really cool on vellum. If you like to watercolor on vellum and give it that see-through look, it really does look like stained glass. But today I'm just going to put it on white so it already has a background. And then inside the card, I'm going to use the bell stamp. You'll see it better as soon as I ink it up. I just think these are really cute. They're bells with ribbons, and I'm going to put that in the upper corner. And then I'm going to watercolor those too. And then I'm going to switch to Blueberry Bushel ink because it is going to coordinate with my card base. I'm going to go over all these papers and colors and things in a minute, but the Blueberry Bushel will coordinate with that. So from my seasons, what is all these greetings called this year? It's got a funny name. Greetings of the Season. That's the new stamp set this year for the holidays. So I'm just simply stamping Merry Christmas, which is really pretty. I love the cursive, the way that looks. And then the other thing I want to stamp, and I'll be done, is this Peace and Joy, which also comes from this Greetings of the Season. And I'm going to estimate this is about where it needs to go. So that's going to be on my banner. And now I should be all done with the ink. I got the stamps out of my way. I've got some room to work. I'm actually going to take this banner now and run it through the embossing folder. And then I'll be done with the embossing machine. And I pulled out, this has been one of my favorite embossing folders. It's now retired, which is very unfortunate. It's the Merry Melodies, so it looks like music. And it's going to give a music texture to this banner. So I'm lining it up. This is just me because I'm a musician. I want the treble clef at the very top. I actually want it. You could have done it anywhere in the music and it's fine. It's just me. I want it to look like it's the edge of the music. So I'm going to run this through. And then I can put the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out of my way, and I will reveal the results here. I like the texture. I just think it adds a lot when you have that little bit of texture. So now this just has music notes on it, and you can still read the Peace and Joy. You know, there's a nice color contrast there, so it shows up very well. What I was looking for when I started designing this in my head was I almost thought about washing a background, but I went searching through a bunch of paper to find blues that would coordinate with my Blueberry Bushel here. So this actually came out of a seashell set, but you can see what I was after is just that really pretty. It's got blues and some white, and I'm going to put this banner on there, and then I'm going to color this and put that on as well. So you can begin to see how I'm going to layer up this card. So for right now, I'm going to set these aside, and we're going to start with our watercolor pencils. This can be very fun and relaxing, and I'm going to give a quick demonstration how this works. If you've never used the blender pen, it does some amazing things with the watercolor pencils. So first, I'm just going to color some blue here. And then what you're going to see is how this blender pen will drag the color, and you can spread it out. My pen's starting to get a little dry here, but it still works. And so you don't need to worry about, you know, coloring everything, because the blender pen is going to drag the color with it. Now I'm going to keep this for cleaning my tip as I work. I'm going to start with the light colors first. And what I had envisioned was the angel wearing shades of blue. I'm going to put yellow behind her, kind of like a halo. And then I think outline the circle in gold. Sometimes I do every other in 2 different colors, but I think today I'm gonna keep it consistent. So I know this little piece here is actually background. So I'm just gonna put down some watercolor pencil. And you see, I'm not trying to color the whole thing in, because I know that it's going to drag and give it that almost a brush stroke. It'll give it some of that color. All right, and that's where her pretty flowing gown starts. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this in gold. And I may just do like every other one and then drag the color. We'll see how that looks. If I don't like it, I can always add more color on top. But for right now, I'm just quickly putting some color in here and then going to drag it. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and blend this part now. Usually I do all my coloring first, but I'm going to do something different today. So first, I'm going to smooth out and just kind of smoosh this yellow and give it that. See how the color's dragging? Yes, and fill out these, they look like stained glass pieces. I don't know if they're called panes, but anyway, you've got these segments that now look like stained glass. There we go. And so now I'm going to start on the gold and drag it. And that was crushed curry, by the way. I've got, this is Daffodil. Yep, Daffodil Delight. And then the crushed curry is what I'm calling the gold here. So it's just a slightly darker color. And I'm just blending the colors here. Here we go. That might need just a little more crushed curry right there. And it's okay. You don't have to color everything in if you don't want to. I do want to clean this before I go on to the next color. So I had pulled out Cajun Craze. We're going to make this look like her hair. You could also make it blue to look like it is part of like almost a headdress or a hood. But I had decided I wanted to give it and put another color in here just to break up the blue. There we go. Okay, so I've got 2 shades of blue. I have got Pacific Point, and this is Bermuda Bay. So it's a little blue-green. Do I really want Bermuda Bay, or do I want a balmy blue? Let's just see what they look like. Yeah, I think I do want the Bermuda. I want contrast. So that'll work just fine. So I'm going to give the darker blue, I think, to the chest here, and then the top of the wings. I'm going to make sure that I don't color in her hands and her face. I do have to watch out for that. And put some highlights here. And then I think the bottom of this flowing robe, I'm putting these highlights. And then my my blender pen will smooth all this out. So now I'm going to take my lighter blue and I'm going to fill in there, and I'm going to fill in here, fill in her sleeve, and fill in this sleeve. Now I could, like if I want to make the sleeves almost a third color, I could mix these 2 colors of blue. And I might just do that just to make them a little bit darker. Let's see what happens if I put just a little bit of this Pacific Point in there to make them stand out a little bit more. Okay, so I think I'm ready to start blending. I'm going to start with the lighter of the 2 colors, which is this Bermuda Bay, and just start smoothing this out, dragging to the edges. It gives you high and low lights. Oh, I didn't mean to jump up there yet. I just did, so I may as well. This is where I blended the two colors together, so it does give me a slightly different color. And make sure I don't drag that new blended color in here. I had just a little bit of yellow that overlapped my line there. And so you can just barely see it. I didn't think I had quite enough watercolor pencil there. And let's see if I can drag this down. I'll fill back in a minute where I think it's just too light and it's not got enough color. But the dark and light and the shading just really gives it a lot of interest. So I do want a little more color down there. And I could make some of these darker. I could make a couple of these really dark, and I'm going to do that just to, again, give it some shading, give it some interest. Okay, so I've got that filled in. I put a little more color there. I think I'm almost ready now to go to my darker blue. So again, I'm going to clean this tip, not too bad. And I'm going to start up here and smooth this out. Give her wings some more color here. And then the bottom of her pretty robe. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna clean that again. Now the blue really does pick up. That's dark. So let me hold this up. This is what my angel looks like now. So she does kind of look like a little bit of stained glass. And I just decided I don't like all that white showing there, so I'm going to add just a little bit of color. You can really play with these, which is what I think makes them fun. So now I want to do the bells, and to coordinate, I'm going to use the two shades I've got. I grabbed the wrong one. The Daffodil Delight again and the Crushed Curry. So I'm picking up my two yellows here, and I'm just going to alternate. So I'm going to go light, dark, light. Make that dark, make this light. Let's see, make that light. That I'm just winging this as I go. Like that. And then I'm going to put the darker gold here. So it looks like two different colors. You notice I'm not coloring in the clapper yet. If you don't know, that's what the little ball is there. So I'm going to use my Cajun Craze. That's that coppery color for the clapper right there. And let's make this. So now I'm going to, again, to match, I'm going to do the bows to match the angel's robe. So same thing. I'm just going to alternate colors here. I'm doing some in the lighter. And then I'm going to go back and do some of the darker. And then I'm going to smoosh it all together, basically. Okay, so now I'm going to start with my lightest shade of yellow, this Daffodil, and just do that first so that it does still look yellow and it doesn't all blend. Now I'm going into the gold, or the Crushed Curry. And you can see how that it blends out. It goes to the edges. I've got, highlights and lowlights. Let me get the yellow off. I don't want the bow here to look green. So I want to make sure I cleaned the yellow off first. So I'm doing my lighter tone like that. And now I'm going back over the darker Pacific Point. Okay, so that's it. I have watercolored, I'll hold it up here, watercolored the bells. I stamped this in the blue so it matches the bow. I'm going to set these aside and I am ready to start assembling. So what I picked out here, as I already mentioned, was my blueberry bushel. I found a piece of paper that just gives me the wash. I mean, I just wanted a background. I'm going to put my banner on, I'm going to put my angel on, and then I'm going to tie a bow. So let me start from the inside and work up in my layers. I had just glued something else a little while ago, so let's see if my glue is still flowing. Yes. So dotting on glue for my inside panel. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you haven't ever tried the watercolor pencils, they're really I think they're really fun. You can tell I've got 2 sets here, so I have a variety of colors to choose from. I find that you can stamp something in whatever color you like, and then color it in and just make it really colorful without having to get your inks out. So it can even be fun while you're traveling. This is easy to take with you if you're looking for a project to do while you're traveling. Let me go ahead and, because this is textured, I'm going to put this down. And you can see how I flagged this as a banner. I just cut the V in the bottom to make it look, whoa, make it look like a banner. I have a little glue on my fingers, so it's not wanting to let me pick up. I'm just going to center this. I could put it high, I could put it low. I mean, there's no right or wrong. I'm going to try to just eyeball this and center it. And then I am going to use dimensionals, which I didn't get out before I started. So I'm going to start a new sheet of dimensionals right here. And that's wanting to stick. Okay. There's what's left of that sheet, not much. So I'm going to put these foam discs on the back to make this pop up off the surface of the card. There we go, and I think one in the middle to support it. And today I will use my Take Your Pick tool and just pull these off. And if 1 or 2 of them don't want to come off, it's not the end of the world. We really need them for support. It's all these pieces to hold it on aren't so critical. Now I do want to make sure I get her centered and get her straight. And so now it's going to say peace and joy. And then I pulled out, I looked, gold ribbon would have been cute. It would have been really pretty. Anything in the blues. I had this metallic blue left over. And so I'm going to tie just a straight little bow. And then I will even it up with my scissors, with my little snips. Like that. Yep, I like that size. That's a little bit long, so I'm just going to trim that off. And then all I need is a glue dot. Here's my glue dots. I'm going to put that, I'm going to kind of roll it up behind this bow because it's very thin. It almost looks fragile. And I'm just going to put this at the very top of the banner. I could have put it on there. I do kind of like it this way. So let me flip the camera up. Here we go. I have watercolored. I did a little bit of embossing. So several techniques that I was using today. I also did watercolor on the inside. Just as an example, this is a card I had done previously with the Santa stamp. I've seen this done where his bag is red, his hat is red, the background can be blue. There's a lot of different ways to do this. I embossed this green piece with a Christmas tree embossing folder, and then inside it just says Merry Christmas. I didn't put anything on the inside, but again, really fun. So a lot of diversity with these cards, with this stamp set. I just think it's a lot of fun to make it look like stained glass. So that's my my tip and technique for today. If you like the products or the projects you see here, you can find me at Carolina Creative, #Carolina Creative, or I'm at on the Stampin' Up! Network. It's Renee Keese at StampinUp.net. Thanks for joining me today. Stay tuned for the next video.